Hello and welcome to Just Another Booktube channel where I talk a bit about books I've recently read covering a variety of genres. And thanks for stopping by. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about a nonfiction book I've just finished, Salt by Mark Kurlansky, published in 2002 and is 484 pages long. Although salt is one of the most ubiquitous of food items, it can be found in every home and just about every store in one form or another. Aside from the basics that it is harvested from seawater or mined from the earth and is used as a preservative for food, I knew precious little about this commodity's history and its rather important role in human civilization. But not any longer, thanks to Kurlansky's book, which takes the reader on an interesting and far-reaching journey, not only of the beginnings of salt production and the use of salt in food and cooking, but also its impact on commerce, technology, and politics. The book begins its journey in China, where in 6000 BC there's evidence of salt being harvested by the people living around Lake Yuncheng in the province of Shaanxi, where they would rake up the salt crystals left behind by the naturally evaporating water around the shore of the lake. It brings us to the creation of the salt industry that produced uniform crystals in whiteness, and into the modern niche gourmet salt markets where the natural impurities give gourmet salts their color and flavor. It was the Chinese who in 250 BC dug the first brine wells to depths of 300 feet or more, and that led eventually to the discovering of natural gas, which they harnessed for cooking. And of course there's the use of salt in preserving meat and fish for long-term storage, which enabled more people to survive through winters, long sea voyages and explorations, as well as maintaining armies through long-term wars. The use of salt as a magical substance by the ancient Egyptians and others is also explored, where they use salt not only in rituals and healing, but also in the process of embalming. And salt, as pointed out by Kurlansky, was also used as a tool of subjugation by political powers, most notably in India, where not only was it illegal for native Indians to produce salt, but they could not even collect salt, which naturally accrued on ocean shores. And it was the Mahatma Gandhi salt campaign where they defied British law by scraping up salt, which eventually led to India's emancipation from colonial rule. Of course, I found most interesting the use of salt in food preservation, and there are many examples from various cultures around the world on how this was achieved, and it even includes many historic recipes for doing so, if you happen to be so inclined, and if you happen to have hundreds of pounds of meat or fish on hand. The considerable amount of information on the history and influence of salt and salt-adjacent subjects, such as cod and the caviar industries, made this book a very satisfying read, and Kurlansky's writing style keeps things entertaining while not skipping on detail. So there you have it, Mark Kurlansky's Salt, an interesting, informative, fascinating look into salt. I highly recommend this book if you're interested in food history or history in general. That's all I have for today. Once again, this is Just Another Booktube channel. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.